What's going on, guys? JPP Duel here. Hope you guys are enjoying your Thursday. And for today's matchup, I'm bringing you prankkids versus weather painters slash eldritch. So let's get on right with the gameplay. My opponent is going first, and he starts off his turn by normaling out the weather painter's monster that lets him activate a spell card on the field, which turned out to be the snowy canvas. Now, how weather painters work is that any monster they have on the field, they can activate the card in the back row right under them as its effect by banishing the monster and then specialing the monster on the next standby phase. That's how they work. So he activates the Snowy Canvas effect to search for a Weather Painter card, which turned out to be the Rainbowy Canvas. Now usually Weather Painters people they search for Thundery Canvas, which will bounce a card on the field that attack into them, but my opponent searched for the Rainbowy Canvas, so okay, I mean, that it is what it is. He played the way he played. He sets down two cards, ends his turn. So my turn, standby phase, the monster that was banished comes back on the field again, and he puts it in the same column as the snowy canvas. Now I start my turn off by activating Raigeki because I want him to pop that card. I don't want him having any cards on the field, and so that he cannot do anything about it once I go into my turn. So my opponent pops it, searches for a thundery canvas at this point, which really surprised me because this shows me that he did not have thundery canvas set on the field. So now we activate our Prankkids place, search for Roxy's. Now as I said before, Weather Painters is a back row set deck, meaning that they rely on their back row set to activate their monster's effect, which mimic the back row set by banishing themselves. So two Prankkids cards in my hand means that I can now go into my roster to completely pop my opponent's back row and make his life miserable. So that was what I was planning to do at this point. So I normal out my fancies, start going into my combo. Activate fancies, discard my panda, get my dropsies on the field, and then go into doodle doo. You guys know how the Prankkid combo works, so I'm not gonna narrate the whole thing, but sadly, at this point, my opponent opens up a skill drain. Now, usually, Prankkids players do not care about skill drain as long as you have either Panda or Pranks in your hand. That means it's still a full combo if you have either of those cards in your hand, but it's only a one card combo. It's not a full two card combo into roster. And since I did not have Pranks or Panda in my hand, this negated my combo either way. So I had to improvise at this point, and then Dropsies activates, I get my monster on the field, I go into battle phase, whack him in the face for 2k, and then activate Doodle Doo on main phase 2, target Panda plus Dropsies in my graveyard, add them to my hand, and then set down my Panda, so this way, at least I'll be able to go into Weather Washer on my opponent's turn to pull two cards from my graveyard onto the field, immune to destruction through battle for that turn only. So again, as I said, I had to improvise since my opponent negated my combo, and this is what I came up with. So, standby phase, my opponent's monster is going to come on the field again. Let's see where he puts it. So he puts it in the face down column set, and which turned out to be the rainbowed canvas. He activates it, banishes the said monster, specials out another monster on the field off of the rainbowed canvas effect. Then he normals out another monster in the same row as the snowy canvas. So right at this point, my opponent was going into battle phase, so I had to use my Pandemonium right then and there to go into my Weather Washer. So I activate my graveyard activations once I use my Pandemonium, get my Weather Washer on the field, and then at the end I activate Weather Washer. Now I could not use my Meow move for the Weather Washer's activation because Skill Drain was active on the field. That would have been a big misplay, so keep that in mind. Don't keep your mind in the game. Don't let it wander around. Sometimes it happens when you know Skill Drain is active on the field, but you're too invested in your own combo. You forget about it, you use Meow move, and then you're like, oh no, Skill Drain is active. You just negated your own monster's effect. So with this, we get all the stuff on the field. These two cards immune to destruction through battle because we did get them using the Weather Washer. These two cards are not immune to destruction through battle. We got them off of the graveyard activations of our Prankkids cards. Now, I did put two Dropsies on the field. As you guys know, I love going to Totally Awesome as soon as I can, if I can afford to do so. And with this, my opponent showed me that he had Eldritch, the Golden Lord, in his hand. So he activates Eldritch, the Golden Lord, and then sends the Thundery Canvas in his hand to the graveyard to target one card on the field, send it straight to the graveyard. Now with this, I was worried about him targeting something aside from my Call by the Grave. Thankfully, he did target the Call by the Grave that I had set on the field. But if I was him, I probably would have targeted something else on the field, maybe one of these two cards that are immune to destruction through battle this turn, most likely the Doodle Doo on the field. But thankfully, he targeted the Call by the Grave, which I was going to activate anyways. So he basically wasted his Golden Lord's opportunity. I did not waste any cards. I got my Call by the Grave activation since he's targeting that card to send to the graveyard. Banish the Golden Lord, negate its effect. Then my opponent goes into battle phase, and my opponent did know how Weather Washer works. So he targeted the two cards on the field that were not immune to destruction through battle and killed them off. Then he activates the Snowy Canvas's effect to banish the monster in the same row as it, to search for a Weather Painter card, which was a monster at this point. He sets down one card, ends his turn. Draw phase, I draw into Fusion Destiny. Really good draw for me, to be honest, because with this, the cards I currently have in my hand, I can just see that I can go into Roaster on my turn and then pop his back row to make plays happen with DPE afterwards. So as I'm thinking, first of all, I normal out my Roxy's. Why did I do that? Why did I not start with the Dropsies? Because I needed to get the nib from my hand and recycle it to draw into something better. As I said, Weather Painters is not a deck that usually pushes past 5 specials. They rely on their back row set to just keep recycling the monsters over and over and over. So Nib is basically a dead card in my hand. So I activate Roxy's, chain block with my Prankkids Place in case he had an Ash Blossom in his hand. So it goes through. Roxy's, banish the Nib from my hand, see what we draw into. I draw into a Dropsies. Now, at this point, I had a choice. Right, the special I got on the field, I could have specialed out a Dropsies on the field to go into totally awesome instantly in case I was worried about my opponent having a Nib. Because the combo, the way it works, is that once I use Meowmoo plus the Lamseys that I had on the field, and go into Doodle Doo and then special out Dropsies, that is 5 specials. My opponent can just nib me and kill my whole field. So I took a risk at this point saying that my opponent does not have a nib in their hands. I took a risk, which paid off. My opponent did not have a nib in their hand. So with Lamseys activation, I get the Dropsy special on the field. Now, at this point, I had several options I could choose from regarding the route I could take, how to combo. I could have instantly gone into Roaster using these 2 cards, used my Roaster, popped my opponent's back row completely, and then gone into DPE. DPE would have came on the field with, no way to negate the DPE because Skill Drain would have been destroyed off of my Roaster's activation. So DPE could have killed off 1 card and then 2 cards by popping itself. That was one of my options. Second option was just go into battle phase after using Fusion Destiny, go into battle phase, kill off my opponent's cards. Because I am going to go into Totally Awesome with the 2 Dropsies that I currently have on the field. As you guys know, 2 Dropsies I did specifically for going into Totally Awesome. So, the route I chose was going into Totally Awesome plus DPE. I was thinking, why make the game too easy for us and too hard for the opponent? Like, I was trolling, I know, but I chose to go into the Totally Awesome plus Fusion Destiny to DPE route over Roaster and popping my opponent's full back row completely. So we get the Fusion Destiny, we get DPE on the field, and then I go into Battle Phase. Battle Phase, I try to kill off the 1700 attack monster card, but he activates its effect, banishing it to get another special on the field, but I still kill off his whole monster field anyways. Then Totally Awesome hits in the phase for 22, and with this, the combo that I pulled off right now allows me to get a Butler on the field on my opponent's turn. How? I activate my Doodle Doo in my main phase 2, target the Panda plus the Dropsies in the graveyard, add them to my hand. And then on my opponent's draw phase, I could just activate my Bow Wow Bark, target the other 2 copies of the card I need for the Butler combo, add them to my hand, which I'm doing precisely at this point. So this way, we have our Butler combo. So far what do we have? We have Totally Awesome to negate something that he does. Then we have Butler combo to wipe out any monster he puts on the field. So standby phase, he will get the monster on the field that he banished, which was the weatherpainter Aurora. So as you guys will see, standby phase, Aurora comes on the field, and my opponent at this point realized he cannot do anything to me at that point, so he probably scooped out right then and there. That's going to be the end of the game, guys. If you guys do like this kind of videos, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing to my channel for more daily prank video uploads, and if you guys are interested in the live version of all of this, you guys can check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/jpbduel. Link along with my schedule is going to be in the video description itself, so see you guys there. This is JPB Duel signing off for today. See you guys in the next video. Peace!